Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing.
So good morning again. So in today's class we're going to look at how to draw this camera here in AutoCAD, right? So as we said before, what type of drawing is this?
Isometric.
So this is an isometric drawing, right? And we can see that the main frame of the camera is what? What is the main frame? What shape is the main frame of the camera? Which is here.
Rectangle.
So it's a rectangle, right? And what would we here use to draw here? The lens of the camera.
Isocircle.
Isocircle, right? And here isocircle again.
Isocircle.
Isocircle, right? And here now I see that we have a line going at an angle here. So I'm going to show you how to achieve this angle here. And then we'd have a little square here. Alright? So in order for you to understand this square, as you see that from here to the center here, it is 15, right? And then from here to here is 15. And we go down at a depth of 5. Right? So because we're going down at a depth of 5, we're going to subtract the 5 from the 15. So hence we're going to get 10. So from here to here is going to be 5. So therefore it's going to be a square of 10 millimeters. Following? Following?
Yes, sir.
Alright, good. So it is saying that
Yes, sir.
it is in the front view. So we're going to start by drawing the front of the camera first. Alright? Alright, student?
Yes, sir.
Alright, good. So now we're going to stop share screen in here. So we're going to, all right, so as I said before, we're going to move on now to the software. So we're going to stop share screen in here and we're going to move to the AutoCAD software, all right? So we're going to go back to the Google Meet and I'm going to now share my screen, the AutoCAD screen, all right? So now we're here in AutoCAD, all right? So this is a blank screen, right? So what would we need to do to get the grid here? Right, so we're going to turn on, the first thing we're going to do is come to model and we're going to turn on grid mode, right? So remember, as we said, once it doesn't as a light, or once it doesn't highlight, it means that it's not on, right? So we turn on grid mode now, right? So in order to set up our drawing environment, what's the first thing that we'll be doing? So we need to set up our drawing environment now. So what is the first thing that we'll do?
Units.
So we're going to set the unit. So we type UN and UN for unit, short for unit, we press enter, right? And what should the precision here be?
0.
So we set the precision here to be 0 and the precision here 0 as well. So we're going to check that it is millimeter and it is international, right? So we select OK. What's the next thing that we're going to set?
Limit.
So we're going to set the limit. So we type LIM, short for limit. We press enter and we say that the first, the lower left hand corner is always 0 0, right? So we're going to type 0 comma 0, right? And the upper right hand corner is always based on what? What's the upper right hand corner based on? Alright, so the upper right hand corner is always based on the size of the paper. Following? So for in this case now we're going to use a tabloid size paper.
Yes, sir.
So it is 420 comma 297. We press enter, right? So what's the next thing that we need to do now? What's the next thing we need to do? Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do is that we're going to zoom all. So we type Z, which is for zoom, enter, A, which is all, enter. And you see that the screen move, right? Right, students?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so now before we start drawing, we also want to set our scale. So because it's a relative fairly small drawing, we're going to use a scale of 1 to 20. Right? Then the next thing that we want to draw, we want to turn on is that we are drawing, what type of drawing are we doing? What type of drawing are we doing? The camera is what type of drawing?
Isometric.
Isometric. So what do we need to turn on in order to draw in isometric? Alright, so no one is remembering. Alright, so we're going to turn on ISO drafts. Right? So ISO draft is off. So we're going to turn on ISO draft. So once it is on, it's going to be highlighted. Right? And once you turn on ISO draft now, you're going to see the line moving according to the plane that is on or that it is in. Right? So right now it is in the ISO plane left. So you see that the line is going to the left. Right? If we should go ISO plane right, the lines will be moving to the right. And if we should go ISO plane top, then it's going to show the lines from the top. Right? So because we want to, as we said, we want to move with speed, we are going to start in the ISO top. Right? And we're going to draw, based on here, we're going to draw the frame of the camera. Right? And we have said that the frame of the camera is what? The frame of the camera is what? What shape?
Rectangle.
A rectangle, right? So the rectangle now, it is 100 millimeters by 30 millimeters. Why did we get 30 millimeters? Because we said from here to the center it is 15, and from the center to the other side it is 30. It is 15. So it is 15 plus 15, right? So now we're going to select a line command, and we're going to draw a rectangle that is 100, right? So we're going to turn on auto mode as well, and we're going to select our starting point, and we're going to go 100. Type 100, enter. We're going to move in this direction 30. You press enter. In this direction 100 again. You press enter, and we come here. We can press C. We can type C, enter for close, or we can just type 30 and enter. Right? Space bar to get rid of the command. Everyone is following?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now, what we can do, as I said before, in order to move with speed, all we can do now is that we can copy this rectangle here. All right. So we're going to select a point in the join area, and we move over the join. Right. So all of the join is highlighted. So we're going to select copy now. Right. We select our start point where we want to start from, copying from. So we want to start copying from here, but we've seen that we can't move up. We can only move to the back and to the front, right, and to the left, right. So what would we need to do now to move up or down?
Isoplane.
So we're going to change the isoplane, right? So we're going to change the isoplane to isoplane right, right? So now we can move up, we can move down. Everyone is seeing that? Everyone is seeing that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we need to know now the height. So the height of the camera, it is saying that from the base to the first line it is 50, and from that line we go up by 10. So we're going to do that now. So we're going to go up from here now. We're going to type 50, 50, enter, and we're going to copy it again, and we're going to go up 60 this time, enter, right? So we're going to copy this again because we are seeing that this one didn't copy so well. So 50, enter, all right? Escape or space bar. So this one didn't copy so well, so we're going to delete this one here. And I'm going to show you why alright, so before I delete it, I'm going to show you why I said that it didn't copy so well. So if we should come here now and we want to join the all of the corners. So we start here. We select a line command. We come here to the endpoint, and we go here. See, it's at a 90 degrees. If we should come here, it is not at a 90 degrees. So that's why I said that we need to delete it. So we're going to click here, space bar to get rid of the command, right? We need to join here, so we're going to space bar, get rid of the command, join here, space bar, get rid of the command. So before we join over here now, we're going to delete this rectangle here. So we highlight all of the lines and we press delete. Alright, so we type or we select line command again. We start from the endpoint. We join here. Space bar, get rid of the command. Right? So remember now, based on the diagram, there is no line around the back of the rectangle, right? Or on the left side of the rectangle. So we need to, what do we need to do to get rid of these lines? So there should be no lines around here or no line here. So what do we need to do to get rid of these lines?
Trim.
So we can trim, or what else?
Delete.
Alright, so we can erase too. So we can just select the lines and we select erase. So we come to the modify command, we erase. Right? Now we have the main frame of the camera, right? So as we said that based on the drawing or based on the image, we are looking at the camera from the front. So we need to draw the front view of the camera first, right? So what do we need to draw here now? And before we do that, we see that these lines should not be here as well. Because remember, it is isometric projection, so it should be 3 lines going in a parallel direction or moving in a parallel to each other. So 1, 2, 3. So these two should not be here. So we can highlight them and delete as well. Alright, so here we want to draw the lens of the camera. So what we said that we're going to use to draw the lens of the camera?
Isocircle.
Isocircle, right? So remember now we want to identify the center of this rectangle here, right? So what we can do is that we can select a line command and we go to our object snap and we ensure that we turn on, so endpoint is already on, midpoint, ensure that we turn on midpoint, we turn on quadrant, intersection, perpendicular, and tangent. Follow? So before you start a drawing, you can turn on all of these. Follow?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so now we select the line command, so we want to go from the midpoint. And what is the midpoint of this rectangle? What do we mean by midpoint? What are we identifying?
Middle, sir.
So we're identifying the center or the middle, right? So we go, because we want the circle to draw from there to there, so we identify the center, right? So what do we use to draw isocircle now?
Oblique.
Oblique,
Ellipse.
ellipse, right? So we go to ellipse and we select here, and which of these we choose here now?
Axis N.
Axis N, right? And then we come here and we select what here?
Isocircle.
Isocircle, right? And then now we should identify the center of our circle. So we're going to go to the midpoint here and we select and we see that this circle is coming in the wrong plane, right? It is not showing in the correct plane. So what do we need to do now? What do we need to do? What do we need to do here?
Isoplane.
So we are going to change the isoplane. Good. So we're going to come here and we are iso right, so we're going to go iso left, right? And it is saying that the diameter of the circle is 50, so therefore the radius is what?
25.
So we're going to type 25, enter, right? Okay, and we're seeing that it should be actually touching, no, it is fine. Yes, because it should be in this line, it should touch, all right, so it should be between this line and this line, right? So what can we do now before we move on?
Trim.
So we can trim, or we can draw the lens first, so we can get the full lens first, and then we trim. So we're going to do that. So we're going to, what do we need to do now to get this circle out here?
Copy.
So we're going to copy. So we're going to select the copy command in modifier. So in modifier, we select copy, we select the circle, and we press enter.
So polar tracking, sir.
You said?
I'm polar tracking, sir.
Turn on polar tracking. Good. So now we're
Yes.
going to turn on polar tracking in order to track it properly, right? Good. Good observation, Patrick. Alright, so now we're going to copy from the center. So as you can see, the center is already highlighted. So we just come here and we move. We say that we are going at a distance of 20, right? So we just type 20 and press enter. Escape or spacebar to get rid of the command. Follow?
Yes, sir.
So we now need to get this to be cylindrical. So what do we need to do to get it cylindrical?
Quadrant.
Quadrant. Good. So we select the line command and we go quadrant to quadrant. Spacebar to get rid of the command. Spacebar, get rid of the command. We come here. Alright, so remember we're looking for the quadrant. So we come here, quadrant to. So the quadrant is actually the square, right? So quadrant to quadrant, right? So now we achieve our lens. So what do we need to do now to get our lens to be showing accurately?
Trim.
So we're going to trim. So what do we select to get trim?
TR, enter, enter.
Alright, so we type TR, enter, enter, right? And we're going to trim here. We don't need there. We're going to trim here as well. We don't need there. We're going to trim this center line here. Trim there, trim there, trim there, trim here, trim there. We're going to zoom up. We're going to trim there, right? What else do we need to trim? We need to trim here. We need to trim here, trim here. We can't trim there as yet, so we're going to escape our spacebar, and then we're going to select the lines. And then what can you do to get rid of these lines now?
Delete.
Delete. Right, so far so good. So far so good.
Yes, sir.
Alright, so good. So now we have achieved the front of our camera. So what do we need to work on next?
Top.
The top. Right, so we're going to draw this button here. We're going to draw the flash, and we're going to draw this button here. Right? So in order to draw these buttons, right, as we said that we need to identify the center here. But before we identify the center, what we can do is that we can draw the flash first, right? So in order to draw the flash first now, we're going to select the line command. We're going to take our start point, right? And we can use coordinate because it's saying that it's going at a 45 degrees. However, a 45 degree won't work on the top here. So we're going to use a coordinate, right? So we're going to type at, and we're going to say 50 greater than 60. Enter, right? So now we get our angle here, right? Or we could have go to polar tracking here, and we just change the angle to, no, it's already at 60, right? So we'd have just draw the line at a 60, right? But if we don't want to change it, we can just use the coordinate, right? So now we say that the flash is at an height of 10, so we're going to now draw that part. So we're going to now select the line command again, we're going to come here and we're going to go up. So we're going to turn on auto now. So we're going to go up, move in the direction you want to go, 10. Enter. We're going to come across, and we just need these lines to be intersecting, so we don't need to go at any specific. Alright, so we're in the wrong plane, so it means that we need to do what? So we need to come this direction, but we can't come to this direction. So what do we need to do here?
Change
So
isoplane.
we're going to change isoplane, right? So we're going to go, we are on the top, so we're going to go isoplane top. Right? We select there, we space bar, and now what we're going to do now to get rid of the unwanted lines.
Trim.
So we come to modify, we select trim, we press enter, we trim here, trim, can't trim there, so we're going to highlight all of this. Alright, so we're going to space bar, and then we select this line and we press delete. Right? So now this is one side of the lens, right? So I'm going to show you now how we get the lens. So we said that the lens from this end here, we need to move 35 millimeters, right? And the lens, as we already identified, is a height of 10 and it is a width of 30, right? So if we need to get this, if we want to move this here to here in this direction, 35, what do we need to do to move this from here to here at a distance of 35 millimeters?
Copy.
Copy. But we say we want to move it, sir. So we're not going to copy. What are we going to do?
Move it.
We're going to move. So we select move. We go to modify. All right, 1 minute. All right, we go to modify. We select move. Select all of the lines that we want to move. Right? You press enter. And then you select the point where you want to move from. And we are going to type 35. Enter. Follow? Follow?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so now we're going to select the line command and we're going to join here to here. Space bar, get rid of the command. And what we can do now, we can now copy this now at a distance of 30 instead of drawing it all over. So we just select copy from the modify command. We select all of the lines we want to copy. We press enter. We select where we want to copy from and we move in the direction we want to go. And we type 30. Enter. Alright, so we did not type the correct measurement, so we're going to do this again. So 30, enter. Space bar, get rid of the command. So we're going to delete this because we did not copy it correctly. Alright, so highlight all of it and delete. Alright, so now, in order to get the shape of the lens, we need to join all of the corners. Alright, so we're going to select the line command now. We're going to start from endpoint to endpoint. Spacebar, get rid of the command. Spacebar, get rid of the command from endpoint here to the endpoint here. Right? So now, in order to get the correct or the true shape of the lens, we're going to do what?
Trim.
Trim. So with TR, enter. We are going to trim here, trim here, trim here, trim here. All right. So whatever we can't trim, we're going to delete or erase. So we're going to select all of the lines that we want to erase or delete, and then we type delete, or we can just select erase. Right? So we now see that our lens is shaping out correctly, right? So now, as we said, now we want to draw the two buttons on the top. So we want to draw the circular button and the square button. So we said that the center of these buttons it is 15 millimeters, right? So all we can do now is that we can select the line command. We go to the midpoint because the midpoint would have been halfway. So we select the midpoint and we type 15, enter. Right? Space bar get rid of the command. Space bar get rid of the command. Come on this side. We do the same thing from the midpoint. We go 15, enter. space bar, get rid of the command, right? So we want to draw a circle here. So what do we use to draw a circle here now?
Isocircle.
Isocircle. And we say that the diameter is 20. So if the diameter is 20, what is the radius?
10.
10. Good. So we go to ellipse. We select axis and end. We select isocircle here. We go to the end point and we type 10, enter. Right? So we want to get this circle to look like this lens here. So what do we need to do here?
Copy.
Copy. Good. So we go to modify, select the copy command, select the object, press enter, and we want to copy it at a height of
5.
5. Good. So we are not able to move up. So what do we need to do in order to move up?
Isoplane.
So we're going to change the isoplane again to the isoplane right. And we can go up or down, but we want to go up in this case. So we type 5, enter, spacebar to get rid of the command, right? Now, what do we need to do now to get the cylindrical shape here?
Quadrant.
So we need to join the quadrant. So we select the line command and we look for quadrant to quadrant, spacebar get rid of the command, spacebar get back the command, and on this side quadrant to quadrant, right? So what do we need to do to get rid of the unwanted lines? So we're going to zoom up. What do we do to get rid of the unwanted lines?
Trim.
Trim. So we select trim from the modify command and we press enter, we trim this line, we can trim this as well. We zoom up more, we trim here, we zoom here, we trim here, right? Space bar or escape to get rid of the command. So we go back to the image and we see that we now achieve our button on this side, right? So we now need to achieve the square button on this side. So what we need to do now, right? So this button would have actually be used to zoom, and this it's what we use to take a picture. So what we need to do now, we say that we need to draw a square over here of 10, right? And it needs to go down at a depth of 5, right? So I'm going to show you how we can draw this fast. So all we need to do now, you select the line command, we come to the end point here, we move in this direction and we type 10, enter. We move in this direction. All right, no, so we need to change the isoplane to the isoplane top because we're working on the top. So we go isoplane top. All right, so we need to move in this direction, 10, enter, and we want to come back in this direction, 10, enter, and we want to come here as well, 10, enter. Space bar to get rid of the command, all right? So once you achieve your rectangle, all we can do now is what can we do to get it here at the center here? Right, so we're going to actually move. So we select the move command, select all of the lines we want to move, right? We press enter, and then we want to move this from the midpoint, right? So we want to move it from the midpoint to the end point, right? Escape or space bar. Following?
Yes, sir.
All right, so in order for you not to get confused, we're going to trim this piece of the line out. So enter, and we trim this piece of the line out, escape. And what do we need to do now to get it to look like a cube, like a isometric shape? So what do we need to do to get it into 3D to look like this button over here?
So you have to try if you get the corner them, sir.
No, but we can actually do before we join the corners. Remember, it should be going down, 5, right? So what are we going to do in order to move it down 5?
Copy, sir.
So we're going to copy. Good. So we go to the modify command and we select copy. We select all of the lines we want to copy, right? We press enter and we want to move down. So we identify where we want to start from, and we see that we can't move down, right? So why can't we move down?
Isoplane.
All right, because we're in the isoplane top. So we need to go to the isoplane, right? Right, and now we're able to move down. So we're going to type 5, enter, spacebar or escape to get rid of the command, right? So what do we need to do now to get the true shape here?
Endpoint them, sir.
All right, so we're going to join the endpoint. So we select a line command and we go endpoint to endpoint, spacebar again, endpoint to endpoint. So here as well, endpoint to endpoint. Right? We don't need to join here because we already know that it is 3 lines moving in a parallel direction. So this is parallel to this and it's parallel to this. We have this is parallel to this and this. We have this that is parallel to this and this. So we need to get rid of these 2 lines here. Right? And now we have our true shape, right? So we can look back on our image and we see that everything's look the same, right? So that's how we draw a camera in isometry, right? So now we can now go ahead and dimension, so we can add our measurement, right? So what do we need? What do we need to do now to add our measurement to this joint?
Dim edit.
Dim edit, good. Or we can just come here in annotation, right? And we can select here on linear and we select aligned. Follow?
Yes,
So we
sir.
say that we need to know the measurement from here. All right, so we need to change the isoplane again. So we're going to go to the isoplane left, right? So here to here, and this is 100, but we want our dimension to be equal. So we're going to put all measurement 10, or we're going to put it 20 millimeters away from the joint. So we're going to type 20, enter. Right? Is that too close? Is it too close? Yes, it is.
No, sir.
It's a bit too close, so we can just select this here and we can extend it. So we just type how much we want to extend it by. We're going to extend it by 10. So it's now at a distance of 30, right? We go back here. We're going to select align again. And we need to know the measurement. Alright, so we can't know this measurement as yet. So aligned. So we're going to do all of the ones that are in the, so that is 25. And we are going to go 30, enter. Spacebar to get back the command. From here to here should be 30. We go 30, enter. From here to here, we need to know the measurement from here to here. So we go spacebar again. So from here to here, and we type 30. Right? What else do we need to know? We need to know the height of here. Right? So we spacebar to get back the command. We go here to here, and we go 30 as well. We need, all right, so we know that this is a square, right? So this here would have been 30 as well. So we need to now know the length of this rectangle here. So we can put in that. So we go spacebar, we select from here. Alright, so from here to here, right? And we type 30, enter, right? Spacebar, we can also get the measurement from here to here. And we can type 30, enter, right? We need to know the measurement from also here to here, right? 30, enter. Spacebar to keep at the command. We need to know the measurement from here. We zoom up to ensure that we are selecting the right point. So the end point there, and we type 30, enter. Right? We know all of our measurement now? No, because we need to know the measurement on this side as well. So we're going to go spacebar.
Right, sir.
This side as well. So the height, yes, and the height as well. So 30, enter. Spacebar to keep at the command. From there to there, 30, enter. Right? We need to know the height as we said. So spacebar to keep at the command from here to here. Right? 30, enter. And we also spacebar, we need to know from here to here, 30, enter. We know all of the measurement now?
No, sir.
So what other measurement do we need to know now?
Radius.
The radius of the circle, right? So in order to add the radius now, we're going to use multi-leader, right? So we're going to select leader, right? And we're going to, so we want to select here, and we want to identify the center. So we come to the center, we select that, right? All right, so in here now, we're going to type R, because we use the radius, we didn't use the diameter, so we're going to type R. What is the radius?
25.
25. And we can also type mm, what is mm? What does mm?
Millimeter, sir.
Millimeters. Good. So we see that it is showing small, so we can adjust that. So what we need to do now, we're going to spacebar to keep at the command, and then we're going to add this radius, and then we make the adjustment at once. So what is the radius here?
10.
So R10 and millimeters. Select outside. Right? So what we need to do now to adjust these here, right? We're going to select that, and we're going to go to, we can go annotate from here. We go on leader from here. We modify, and we're going to change the text height to 10, and we're going to select OK here and close here. Right? So it is more portion now, right? So it's at a better portion. So all we need to do now, we are going to also,
Yes, sir. The quadrant them now, sir.
so we're going to increase these as well, right? So we come to dimension now. We go click on this arrow here.
Sir, quadrant, sir.
Yes, we're going to do that after. So we're going to modify here. So we are going to change. All right. So we want the text height. So it is 2.5. So we're going to change the text height to 5. 5. We're going to also. All right. So lines is good. We want to change the. We want to add units, right? So we're going to add suffix, and the suffix is millimeters. We're going to select OK and close here, right? All right, so we want the measurement now to be aligned. So what do we do to get the measurements to be aligned with the join?
Oblique.
What do we do? What do we type? What command do we type before we get to the oblique?
Dim edit.
So we're going to type dim edit. So what we can actually do is that we can select all of these dimension first, right? So to save us time, we select all of the dimensions. This one, and this one, this one, this one, right? Then we type dim edit. So we want dim edit, so we select dim edit. right? So in the edit now, we're going to select oblique here, and we want it to be at so we're going to try 30 degrees. So enter, right? So we see all of those aligned, right? So all of those that did not align now, it means that we need to select these now again, right? So we select these now. All right, this one is okay, so we can leave that one there. Select these, this, this, right? And we can spacebar to get back the command. We select oblique again, and we're going to now type 150. All right. So we see that these align here. What are we not able to see? All right. So this 10 is not showing so clearly. So we can also extend, or we can get this to be here, so it's aligned. All right, it's not showing properly. All right. So oblique. I'm going to put this one at a 90 degrees. All right. So undo. All right. So I'm going to select this one. Spacebar. All right. No. So escape. So we're going to type dim edit again. So this measurement is not showing, so delete this, and we're going to add the dimension again. So we go back to linear, we select aligned, right? So instead of starting from here, we're going to start from here instead. So we start from there to there, and we see that the measurement is coming on the opposite side. So we type 30, enter, right? So now we're going to select on this one here. We're going to type dim edit, so DIM, and we see dim edit here. We select dim edit. We select oblique, and we're going to put this one at 150. Enter, right? So what we can do now is actually align this one to here, to the endpoint, so it's aligned. Spacebar. All right. So oblique again. We're going to change this one, and we're going to put it at a 90 degrees. Enter. All right. No, so it's the wrong one that we select. So escape. All right. So we're going to select this one, and we're going to put it at a 90 degrees, so it can show. Follow. So we're going to type dim edit again, and we select oblique. We type 90, enter, right? So it's now showing. You're now able to see the measurement better.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we are seeing this measurement. We're not seeing this measurement so clear, right? So can you see this one clear? Can you see the 10 millimeters there clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. So that is good. So what else can't we see now? We're not able to see. So we're seeing this. We're going to actually align this here to here. Space bar.
15 millimeters, sir.
Redimension it. So we select aligned. We want from the center here to here, and we go 30, enter, right? So we type dim edit again, so DIM, short for dim edit. We select dim edit, oblique, select here, and we want this to be going at what was the angle again? 150 or 30? So we're going to try 30 for now. Right, so it didn't move, so we can space bar, and we type 150, enter, right? So now we can select this and align it to here, like that. So now this measurement is now showing on this here as well, over here. So what we can do is that we can escape. We're going to delete this one, and we're going to redimension it. Alright, so we're not going to dimension it on this side, we're going to dimension it on this side instead. Follow? So we go to align. We're going to dimension from here to here, right? and we want it to be at a distance of 30. Enter. Alright, so we're going to align this now. So we're going to type dim edit, DIM, select dim edit, and we're going to select oblique, select the object. We're going to put this at press enter, 90 degrees. Alright, so it didn't work, so space bar, get back the command oblique, select the object, press enter. We're going to go 30 instead. Alright, so is it better now? Yes, it is better. Alright, so what we're seeing now, here, the dimension for this, the circles, they are a bit untidy, so we want it to get to look uniform, right? So what we're going to actually do is that we're going to reduce 5. So modify, and we're going to type 5 here. 5, okay, close. Alright, so 5 is more uniform, right? So we can also position this here a little bit better. Alright, escape, undo. We want to position this. Alright, so no, we want to position it a bit better so it actually shows. Delete it, and we're going to add the dimension to it again. So leader, we are going to select a start point, so we can select the start point from over here, and then we set the center, and we say that it is R, so capital R, 10, and it is millimeters. We select outside. Alright, so yes, it is showing better now, right?
Yes, sir.
Much better. Right? So what we can do now to differentiate the dimension line and the actual lines that we used to draw is that we can add a layer. So we're going to do that. So we select layer properties here. Layer properties. And we're going to add a layer. So we select there. And we're going to call this layer DIM. So it is short for dimension. We're going to change the color. So we're going to change it to like a bright color so we can use this color here. Okay. And it's the same line type. So it's okay. So it's just alright. So what we're going to actually do now is that we're going to turn on, select the dim layer, right? Alright, so it's not turning on from there, so we can actually come back here and we just click here and it is on now, right? So all we can do is that we're going to select all of the dimension lines and then we select all of the dimension line and then we select the dim layer. Alright, so okay. Follow? Escape. Follow?
Yes, sir.
So that's how we get to dimension and use a layer to differentiate the dimension lines from the outline. So